need 2 couples to volunteer for this role play, and my wife will send you the, the text so that you can read it, and then after that you come up here. When I call upon you, then you come up here to do the role play 5 minutes, okay? So that,
okay.
Yeah,
we select 2 couples.
2 couples.
Who want to volunteer? Yeah. So you want to getting married one, okay now, Dr. Tan? This couple getting married one. I think it's the best example. You learn from before married, you learn first.
Later.
Okay.
We just pass you the text. You just read first.
Okay.
Husband and
Another
and
one
wife.
couple. And another couple. Joseph and Jasmine, okay lah. Okay, learn. We don't take commission one already. Okay, we have 2 couples, Yeah.
Okay, now happy Chinese New Year to all of you. Yes. And all of us are still in the New Year mood. Huh? Yeah. Today is what day of the Chinese New Year?
6th day.
Day 6. And day 6 is very significant to the Chinese because most of us return to work on day 6, true or not? Huh? But today is Sunday, so nobody works. So everybody goes back tomorrow, right? Now, first and foremost, I want to welcome all of you. Indeed, it is really a joy, to welcome you back to this FFM discipleship journey. Okay? Now, today we are going to talk about a subject that is deeply, in fact, practical and sometimes sensitive and often emotional. That is managing money as a couple. Can I have the clicker? Okay. Yeah, thanks. Is it okay? Okay. So now today's topic is very interesting for most couples that they want to actually manage their wealth. Now, I have got this billionaire couple. Before they become billionaires, you know how they worked through this wonderful couple, how they related when they both of them went shopping. Husband will take one list and the wife will take one list, the shopping list. Both of them identical list, and they go shopping, different shopping center. So maybe one go to one Utama, the other one go to Mid Valley, right? And then they will call each other. Item 1, how much is your selling over there? So he say yours is $1, mine is 1 ringgit 20 cents. Okay, you buy. So next item 2, how much is yours? 9 ringgit 50 cents. How much is over yours? Or mine is 11 ringgit. Okay, you buy. So what they do is that at the end of the shopping, they both went home and they compare their list. You know how much they save? Every time they came home, they saved average of 30 to 40%. Now, to him, it's not so much of money, But to him, his mindset is that, how much can I save? In terms of percentage-wise. So if you work out in percentage, that is a lot of money. And today, he's a multi-billionaire. All right? And I don't want to mention his name. I think you should actually know who he is in the market. All right? Just 2 years ago, he took his company into private because his company was listed. So he took the company into private. Now nobody knows how rich the fella is. All right? Nobody knows because they don't record. Okay? So, now, managing money as a couple. Now, we all know that money is just not about dollar and cents. All right? What does it represent? It represents security. It represents also dreams, your upbringing, your values, and even your identity. Right? Now, for some, money means safety. And for some others, it means freedom. You got money, you are free. All right? Free to spend. Okay? Now, for some of them, it still, carries some form of anxiety or past wounds. Because when you talk about money, some of them actually, suddenly they actually, begin to actually think of the past, how actually, bad or how poor they were, okay? So, when two people get married, they don't just combine incomes. Remember, they combine money stories. So, it is important that when you're sitting down here today, it's for you to actually learn how to, especially the handles. And today I hope that when you go back home, that you get some handles how to actually manage your finances. So that is why financial management in marriage is, is just not a max issue. You understand? No? It's just not just about mathematics issue, because it touches on what? On your communication, your trust, and your sacrifice and your shared vision. Now, we realize that many couples, discover that they are not arguing about numbers. They are wrestling with fear. They are wrestling with expectation. And they are wrestling with feeling unheard. And this is often the problem of husband and wife, why they quarrel, why they argue. And to the point of some of them, they actually break off because of money issue. Now, the goal of today's session is not merely to help you balance a budget, okay? Now, it is to help you build unity. We know that healthy financial management is not about control. It is about collaboration. That means husband and wife, both of you work as team, okay? And it is all about winning, not about winning argument. It is about strengthening your partnership. Because as you, both of you move together as one, you are actually equal partner, so you move on. And that's why a strong marriage relationship is this, that we face this issue together, right? We don't face it separately, right? Now, when couples learn to communicate openly about money, that means they plan intentionally and respect each other. That means respect each other's views, right? Finances become a tool for building a shared future, okay? And rather than a source of division. So, brothers and sisters, my hope today is that by the end of this session, you will live not only with practical strategies, but with a renewed commitment to stand side by side as husband and wife, okay? As teammates, and managing your resources with wisdom, also with transparency, and also with trust. So let us begin this journey towards financial unity and also marital strength. Together, I want to invite two couples today to come and also volunteer themselves in these two role play, okay? So the role play number one, okay? Now this role play portrays a married couple. Can the first couple come up here? And then, yeah. And then you got a chair, sit down, facing each other. Okay? Now, this role play portrays a married couple struggling with financial stress, okay? Miscommunication, and also emotional insecurity. Okay? Now, what happened is that it triggers the wife, because the wife applying for a new credit card without informing her husband. Okay? So, this exposes, their problem of this managing money as a team. All right? So, let's start. Who is going to start first? Lo Kong? Of course, okay, okay. Okay. Now you can call your darling, or some of you call Lo Po or Lo Kong, whatever, sweetheart. With a little bit expression.
Bibi. Okay. Bibi, I don't get it. why did you apply another credit card without telling me? Hey, you already got 5, you know. Why you apply another one? We're already drowning in the debt.
Drowning? Wait, I only wanted to get a little breathing room to cover the essential. You never bring up your expenses, and then now until you're angry. Then only you bring up everything.
Okay, because we should discussing this before things getting worse. Okay, we keep hiding these expenses, and it feels like you don't trust me to help you.
Trust? Hey, I'm the only one that is trying to bring food to the table, you know. Every time we talk about money, it turns out into an argument. You know, I'm scared one, you know.
I'm scared too. Yeah, I'm scared too, you know, like scared of losing everything because we can't get on the same page. But hiding things wouldn't fix it.
Yeah, you're supposed to liao. Okay, why can't you talk to me nicely to plan out expenses instead of yelling? I'm not hiding anything from you also.
Well, sorry, baby. I've been too stressed and, lose my temper instead of listening. How about we make a plan of our expenses together today?
That sounds better. Let's resolve this money matter as a team, not as opponents.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Well done, well done.
Now, you realize that when couples move away from blame to understanding, right? And instead of reacting, they begin to listen. That means they are no longer actually fighting each other, but they are actually operating as teammates, okay? So therefore, they create actually space for practical solutions. So you look at just now the wonderful couple, they come out with a practical solution. Why don't we just sit down and work out our budget together, all right? Therefore, financial unity begins actually with humility, your empathy, and also with responsibility, okay? Now, we are going to move to role play number 2, okay? Now, role play number 2, this role play plays model. Can I have the second couple come up here? Okay.
Old couple need to sit down.
Okay, now this role play models respectful listening, okay? Openness to compromise and grounding financial decision in their shared values and their faith. So he encouraged both of them to work together against conflicts and build unity in managing money, okay? So let's start. Lopo.
Teo Ching. I notice you buying more and more gadgets on top of the car. So I'm worried about that. We don't have enough money, to save for emergency or to buy another house.
I get that, Lopo. But sometimes I feel that we always work and work and work. We don't get to enjoy at all. I feel like we are pinching pennies all the time. And what's the meaning of life?
But maybe, it's like we shall find a balance, okay? Having fun in life is important, okay? But we should also save some money, for emergency, not just everything for personal spending.
Okay, that sounds like an idea. Okay, it helps me feel like we are responsible but also enjoying life. So can we maybe start with saving 20% of our income, which is a lot, and and use 10% for personal spending so little.
Okay. Maybe, if for the percentage wise, we can, pray to God, and ask for wisdom. What is the right amount of spending, for personal, and then how much we shall save for the future. Yeah.
Okay, I agree. I think keeping communication open like this will really help us avoid misunderstanding about money. Thank you.
See, looks like audition now. You know who I got the talent.
Your church is very talented. Now, of course, just now that you observed that this dialogue actually reminds couple that unity in finances reflects unity in their marriage. You get that? So, now when couples invite God into their financial decisions, and also they are determined to actually commit to one another, okay? Conflicts become opportunities for growth. So if you don't actually allow these conflicts to come into play, then what happens is this: sometimes you may not understand, you may not know the other parties, how they feel, okay? So together they can build not only financial stability, but also deeper trust, stronger partnership, and also lasting harmony. So let us go to look at the scripture. Now, scripture in Proverbs 1:23-26. You read that in verse, let us read this scripture together. Okay? Now, if you return at my reproof, behold, I will pour out my spirit to you. I will make my words known to you. Because I've called and you refuse to listen, and have stretched out my hand and no one has heeded. Because you have ignored all my counsel and would have done of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when terror strikes you. Now, if you really meditate on these few verses, you realize that verse 23 talks about wisdom. Because wisdom, that if you turn at her rebuke, because this is God rebuking you, okay? And she will pour out her thoughts and make his teaching known to those people who listen to God. So the invitation is gracious, and there's still time to listen and change. But you go further down to verse 24 and 25, it actually describes a very tragic response. People refuse to listen, ignoring counsel and reject correction. Wow, that is very serious. True or not? Huh? You refuse to listen. Okay? And they deliberately choose their own way instead of embracing wisdom. So what happened? The scripture says, as a result, verse 26 warns of consequences. Now when trouble and calamity come, wisdom will not rescue those who continually rejecting her. Okay? So this passage teaches a very, very, in fact, a very good principle to all of us. That means if we ignore wise instruction or wise counsel, it will lead to unavoidable, that means suffering. That means it will lead to avoidable sufferings. Because there are many times that we can avoid all this suffering. So in summary, we realize that Proverbs 1:23-26 contrasts two paths. Okay? Humble responsiveness that leads to understanding, and stubborn rejection that leads to distress. So which one do you choose? The message is very clear. Okay? Respond to correction while there is still time. All right? So couples who are here listening, you better respond to correction. All right? Now, then, let us actually come to, see what are the healthy practices that foster a harmonious home. Basically, I've actually listed 7 reasons. Now, the first is building trust and transparency. Now, when couples discuss and manage finances openly, it creates trust. Transparency about income, expenses, and also your debts, savings, your savings, it actually helps to prevent a lot of misunderstanding and also suspicion. Because sometimes if husband and wife keep separate accounts, husband will think that the wife still keeps a lot of money, and the wife will also think that husband keeps a lot of money, and then they keep on spending. In the end, they sit down together, they realize that they borrow so much debts, and they don't know how to actually overcome them, right? So it's important that this is a very, very good practice for those couples. That means you have to be open, you have to be transparent, you have to be accountable, all right? That means some husband, they don't want their wife to know how much they make, yeah? And this is going to be quite serious, true or not? Because the wife may think that husband makes a lot of money, all right? But in actual fact, the husband is just making enough. So therefore, they're causing a lot of misunderstanding and also doubts. So the second point is that encourage shared goals and also unity. Brothers and sisters, money management aligns with mutual goals. Whether you are saving for a home, for the children's education, or for your retirement. Now, all this strengthens the sense of teamwork and also shared purpose. So, working together financially reinforces emotional bonds and also partnership. Now, ever since actually I learned this principle, those days I used to keep accounts separately from my wife. Ever since I learned this, I begin to combine the accounts, and then you realize that initially you feel very restrictive because your wife can just control you this, control that. You don't feel like it, isn't it? So, but after a while you get used to it, right? You get used to it. So now I really enjoy having this joint, accounts where my wife, who is a better manager of the financials, she manages the money, okay? And every day she makes sure that I got enough money in my wallet to spend for that day. So it is important. So for wives who are, especially smart wife, you got to learn to make sure that it's not that you want to control your husband, but it is accountability. But of course, sometimes that you put the money cash there, husband use credit card. Touch and go. You don't know. So in the end, you come back to square one, right now. And number 3 is that reduce conflict and also stress. Now, brothers and sisters, financial disagreements, they are leading cause of tension in relationship. So by communicating regularly and agreeing on the spending and also on the saving strategies, that means couples can reduce surprises and also arguments. So that is leading to a more peaceful home environment. You want to actually live in a home that is harmonious. But you don't want to live in a home that, argue over money all the time, right? I know of actually couples who keep on arguing over money, and in the end they fought, and then finally they divorce, right? Because of money issue. So the fourth important reason is that it promotes accountability and responsibility. Because you realize that joint money management encourages partners to be accountable to each other. That means whatever that I spend, my wife knows how much I spend, right? In the past, I kept on buying property without consulting my wife, right? And she was actually taking care of my company finance. And she knows how much, that we have. But for me, I just keep on buying because I was so easy to get loan from the bank. I used to have a banker who accompanied me. Every time I go and look at the property, I say, boy, like that one. In the end, do you know that I bought how many properties? 42 properties. With a bank loans of up to 28 over millions. All right? Jalat, Huh? I will tell you in the next, session, how to be financially free. All right? That will be a very interesting topic for all of you. Right? So, of course, 28.2 million, it is not a lot of money comparing with people like Tan Sri Changachai, who owes $5 billion, 5B, all right? But he has a lot of other assets, of course, right? So it is important that we actually know and promote accountability and then our responsibility as well. So the fifth reason is prepare for future challenges. Now, brothers and sisters, planning your finances together, that means equips all of you as couple to face unexpected events. We have a lot of unexpected expenses that come. 2 years, last year, suddenly I got 22 friends, one by one left now. 22 friends. And then you just imagine that you go to the funeral service, you go to also give pakami, right? So these are unexpected, actually, expenses. So you got to give pakam. Pakam, you cannot give 50 ringgit. Buso, you must give at least 200 or 300 ringgit. True or not? But you add up together, it's thousands of dollars. True or not? So, important thing is that especially for retirees, those of you who are retiring, you got to really budget it very, very carefully. Now, marriage, you can budget. But funeral, you cannot budget. Right? How to budget funeral, right? And also that, in terms of especially suddenly emergency, you also cannot budget. So that's why your insurance comes handy. My friend is a professor at a university, and he actually there was 2 years ago when he contacted this lung COVID, right? And he spent about 7 weeks in Mount E Hospital. And the 7 weeks in Mount E Hospital, the bill came out to be about close to 2 million Singapore dollars. You just imagine? Almost 2 million Singapore dollars. Now, good thing that he has got the insurance coverage. They cover him up to 2 million Sing dollars. So that was enough to actually pay off from his insurance policy. Now, for those of them who have no insurance, what happened? You die already, you can't even take out your body, True or not? Many years ago, I got a friend who is a pastor. The wife actually suddenly died in hospital, right? And she went in for the heart, operation. After the heart operation, the bill came out to be 70 to 80,000 ringgit. How the pastor going to pay? True or not? So, if there's nobody helping the pastor to settle the bill, the body will be still remaining there in the hospital. True or not? But we have to retrieve the body, so you got to pay the bill. As far as hospital is concerned, you don't pay, you don't get your body. Right now. Whereas some people, they say, okay lah, never mind lah. Since I don't pay, I don't get the body, and then let the body stay there, So, important thing is that, brothers and sisters, you have to begin to prepare, for your future challenges. And the number 6 point is that model healthy financial habits. Couples who manage money well set an example for children and for those around them. That means, you see, like for us, we begin to actually manage, and also as husband and wife, that actually infiltrate down to our family members. So they also begin to also learn how to budget, okay, and how to plan. So it is important. So when you, as parents, begin to actually budget and work it as a couple, this positive legacy can impact your future generation. So question here is that what, kind of legacy are you going to leave behind? I just heard what CE was telling me that one of his friends suddenly got a big commission, right? And started to spend money like a lot, right? Spend money like nobody business. And few years down the road, he is in debt. Okay. Start to borrow money, right? So this is very, very sad. Now, 7 point is that foster respect and also equality. Now, this one involves both partners in financial decisions, because it is important that this approach supports equality, that means in their relationship, and also strengthen their mutual respect. So therefore, brothers and sisters, in essence, we know that managing couple as money as a couple is not just about finances. It is about creating an environment of trust, cooperation, and also shared purpose. That supports a loving, stable, and also harmonious home life. Okay? Now, we realize that why couples always fight. Couples fight over what? Spending habits. Okay? Sometimes, husband spend too much on the drinking, and then bringing not enough money home. And also, the next point is that discover the truth of secret funds. Especially some husband keeping some woman outside, right? So they keep some secret fund, without the husband knowing. So as a result of which, that you see, the moment the wife discover, suddenly the trust is broken, right? So be very, very careful, okay? And also financial irresponsibility. Brothers and sisters, it is very important that you, being one of the spouses, you have to be responsible, for the money, to manage the money, in a family, as a couple, so that you manage a harmonious home. And of course, not making enough money can also cause a lot of problem. Yeah, but it depends how you budget. I used to have a store executive, a Malay fella, right? And he has got 4 children. Every day he will come to work with his motorbike. And his pay at that time was only 1,008, I think. But he is living very happily, right? Because the wife selling nasi lemak. Okay? So making some income, good income, all right? So he has got 4 children and send the children to a government school, so he doesn't have to pay money. So he's quite happy, even at 1,008. Now I got another executive, a manager who earns 5,000. He is always in debt. Why? Because he wants to have a better car, and he wants to have, applying for so many credit cards. In the end, he was deeply in debt. Okay? So it is important that you have to learn how to be contented. Okay? Now, and also making unilateral decision. For couples down there, listen. Now you are married couple. You are no longer, a 2 person. You are one. So therefore, you don't make unilateral decision. Whatever decision that you want to make pertaining to actually spending money to buy a house, especially big ticket items, you got to discuss with your partner, right? So that to get agreement. Now, there are many times actually I escape. Because I escape, been losing a lot of money in investment. Sometimes I got friends who always tell me, hey, brother, come in, come and invest in this, stock. You will quickly make money. I got friends who asked me to invest in the stock. And he told me that I'm going to push the stock up, okay? So without actually discussing with my wife, unilaterally I invested quite a big sum of money. But the stock didn't go up. Stock didn't go up. Instead, all of us who went in, all of us lost money. Okay? So, this one aspect, even now what I'm trying to tell you is that even insider information can sometimes not be reliable. Okay? So, it's important that we have to consult each other. So if you fail to consult, you begin to fight. Okay? Now, what happened is that when this thing happened, it caused insecurity. It caused a lot of fear, anxiety. You can't even sleep, loss of sleep. And then you can have a sense of ungratefulness, brothers and sisters. And you find that you are trapped. You are enslaved, okay? And you begin to actually envy those people who can spend money freely. Maybe your neighbor, all right? And you have this bitterness in your heart against your spouse. So you ask yourself, is it worthwhile? Is it really not worthwhile, right? So for those people, especially consequences after riches, those people who are always after riches because they got no time for their spouse and also for their children. Every time they work, but they got no time for their children. You see, like for me, last time, I keep on working. I little time, for my kids, right? I mean, thank God that my wife was constantly actually there to be with the kids. So, I mean, I got a lot of testimony how actually I got problem even with my daughter. I got problem with my father. That was in my book, actually. You go to my book and you read my book, you understand how actually God repair or restore our relationship, all right? So, and sometimes when you go after riches, your investment goes bad. That means not necessarily that you make money. And also that will also create health problems. Your health problems also develop. And also your get-rich scheme fails. Many of us want to go into get-rich scheme, right? I got a friend who came and see me. He said, brother, you put 300,000, in 6 months you get 600,000 back. Wow, I said, very, very good. Very attractive. So I said, good. Why don't you come? I introduced my friend who is in Along. You take the 300,000 from the Along, okay? And Along will charge you every month 3%. So 6 months, you pay only 18%, right or not? Huh? So after you make the 300,000, you pay the 18, that means you pay Along 300,000 plus the 18%. Okay? Now the balance of the money that you have, we split half. How about that? Huh? So he said, no way. You cannot. So because I borrow from Along, he doesn't want. Okay? So I said, since you don't want to borrow from Along, then why do you want to borrow from me? Why do you want me to invest in the scheme? And you know jolly well that this scheme cannot hold waters. True or not? Right? So, brothers and sisters, when you are into this kind of financial issue and trying to actually get rich fast, and you can see that your children also rebel against you. And then not only that, your finances will collapse, your marriage and your family will also collapse. It's not worthwhile. So, I want to share with you how reproof, okay? Especially how reproof for moral impurity develop in marriage. Because when a husband cannot accept unchangeable traits in himself or his family, he feels inferior. Okay? That means his wife will admire, expect the wife to admire him, and also the wife will constantly rely on him. All right? So eventually you can see that there is a crack in the marriage relationship. So if inferiority, husband's inferiority, cause the wife's insecurity. Okay? And when a husband who doesn't himself accept, that means they try to actually boast his image with expensive things. You see, many a time we try to buy things with the money that we don't have to impress the people we don't know. For what? We go and impress people we don't know. We want to buy expensive thing. We want to buy all this, the Hermes handbag. I always tell my wife carry the better Hermes handbag. All the time she carries this, You know this bag, Hermes. Huh? So I always tell people it's not so much on the external, but you look at the internal, right? How much is in the internal? True or not? Right? So now the wife may accept these things outwardly, but feels fear and insecurity inside. Okay? Because of what? Because of the debt that the husband incur. When you want expensive things, you incur more debts. So that's why husband's extravagance cause fear to the wife. Now, when the husband sets financial goals and seek approval, that means to help reach these goals, that means he allows his wife to work outside the home, right? Now, when the wife begins to work outside the home, that means the wife will begin to actually experience a different work environment and realize that, hey, my husband, it is not what I expected, true or not? So the expectation also begin to change and shift. So, and as a result of which you can see that eventually they will cause a lot of, uneasiness among this relationship. Okay? So that's why it's important that husband, if you have the wrong priorities, it will cause divided loyalty to your wife. So far, are you all clear?
Yeah.
You can get it right? Okay, good. So when a husband relies on his wife, that means to help support the family. Now, he gives up part of his God-given role as provider. You know, husband, God has given us, the means to provide for our family. Okay? So therefore, when he cannot provide for the family, the husband will feel inferior. Okay? Now, he then rejects his wife and children as he feels rejected himself. You get the point? Huh? So then the wife feels resentful about their actually tight budget and starts seeking support from other people. So as a result of which that you can see that when the husband feels rejected, it will cause the wife to feel more resentful. Right? So in this aspect, when the husband reacts with his wife's independent spirit. Now, some wives are very independent. They don't need to depend on the husband, true or not? Now, therefore, you can see that financial pressures cause the husband to be quick-tempered and also irritable. Because sometimes husband may not actually earn enough money compared to the wife, all right? So a little bit spark off, they become, hot-tempered because he hit on the ego, right or not? Huh? So he expects his wife to have patience while he works through the problems. Okay? Now, however, the problem become even greater. He actually magnify. So his wife loses confidence in the husband's leadership. Because she sees the pressure actually mounting. Right? She sees the pressure mounting. So, wife tries to give the husband counsel, but what happens is that husband just is too stubborn, too proud to receive counsel from the wife. Then what happens is that the wife has got no other way and begin to actually go for her own interest. Right? And that is where husband's reaction, okay, will cause separation. So far, is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay? Now, before actually, next point is that, before actually their marriage, husband was attracted to his wife, let me see, okay, on a physical level. Now, during their courtship, he violated God's moral standards with her. You can see that many young couples, as a result of which that before even they are married, they have this sexual relationship. So this is against God's moral standard. I got a friend my friend from Indonesia, this guy is used to also be with us in a family first. The daughter studies in America. And what he does is that he gave the daughter a ring. And the ring engraved with his name, that means on the daughter's fingers. So this is a covenant the father told the daughter, that the day I see that your ring is missing, I will know what happened, right? I will forgive you, I will not blame you, but I know already what happened. So during one time that this girl was actually in America, she was actually washing her hands and she lost a ring. She was so scared to tell the father, right? Because the ring is lost. Now the father said, when the ring is lost, I know that you have lost your virginity. You are no longer a virgin anymore. So you didn't preserve the godly standard. But the girl sincerely lost a ring, and the girl told the father honestly, and then the father finally, accepted the daughter's explanation and make one more ring for her. And on their day of the wedding, we attended their wedding in Indonesia. It was a grand wedding. It was a beautiful wedding. The girl maintained her virginity for the husband. Anthony is the husband, and really you can see that their marriage now really prosper. Okay? And that is how we are talking about from actually lack of self-control will also cause a guilt and doubt in the woman, okay, in the wife. So that's why it's important that when we begin to actually lose control on ourselves, and especially it will damage the self-respect of a woman, okay? So the husband began their marriage by expecting his wife to fulfill his sexual needs, okay? Now, sometimes husband is insensitive to her real needs because of certain of his sensual expectations. Sometimes women once a month, they have this, they come once a month, they have menstrual period. But some husband, during that time, still have the desire, right? But the wife don't enjoy doing that. True or not? So you don't understand the wife desire. And you begin to laya, huh? So, of course, and this happened is this that and especially the wife, will begin to actually feel that she's not loved. She's just been a tool being used by the husband, right? So it is important that when a husband sensual focus, that cause the wife to become cool. That means coolness in the wife. Now, the next point is that when the husband now reacts to his wife's coolness towards him, he begins to make demand that she makes his physical needs, right? So the wife now sees his demand and his continued insensitivity. And what happened is this, that she already confirmed that he does not love her anymore. That means she already confirmed that you don't love her anymore, okay? She becomes physically cold towards the husband. So husband, be very mindful. Your reaction will cause your wife to actually be very cold towards you, okay? Now, the next point is that husband attempt to prove love, okay? And that will cause the wife to actually spend extravagantly. So, and it's important that once that this happened, the wound is being inflicted, okay? So it is a pain. Is no matter how expensive the things that you buy for your wife, you cannot actually cover the guilt. Husband, remember, it is not so much about the things. It is a lot about how much is your presence. It's not your present, okay? Your presence means a lot. So therefore, it is important that don't need to actually prove that of your love for your wife by giving her expensive items. every this birthday, I try to actually buy. Last time I used to buy my wife, rose. 1 year, one rose, one stalk of rose, right? When she was 50 years, I bought 50 roses. And she said, what for? You buy 50 roses? One rose costs how much? 8 ringgit. All right? 8 ringgit per rose. 50 roses, how much does it cost? 400 ringgit. True or not? She said, then you might as well give me the 400 ringgit. Huh? Huh? You don't need to buy all these expensive rose because after 3 days, rose all gone already. Right? No more. All the roses are become ham choy already, All right? So my wife is very down to earth, right? She doesn't actually expect a lot of expensive things. What she wants is that husband is faithful and loving her. True or not? All the women, amen to that? So, important thing is that husband, you must realize that your gift actually do not restore your wife's broken spirit. Remember that, okay? Now, when you tighten your budget and expect her to actually cooperate in order for you to get out of debt, okay? And then you spend more time in your work and try to get additional income from your work, and this further actually hinders the husband from meeting the wife's real needs. Husband, listen carefully, right? You don't need to overwork just because to prove that you are going to make more to substantiate the income. Because as long as you love your wife knows how to budget. You understand or not? Yeah? Your wife is very, very good. You see, my wife is very good. She knows how to budget, right? I got 10 ringgit, she budget 10 ringgit. I got 100 ringgit, she also budget 10 ringgit. She keep 90 ringgit. Huh? So, and this is exactly what happened is that when you begin to actually emphasize on your work, that causes separation. Okay? Remember that. Huh? So, there are some suggestions that I want to give you, all right, as we come to the end. Okay, for all of you, there are some suggestions for couples. That means honest discussion about your individual money, your fears, your goals, and your dreams. Okay? And also work out the type of money management system that works best for both of you. Because all the different couple, you have different needs. Remember that. All right? So, know each other's money weaknesses. And also set aside some money each month into savings for retirement plan. Now, many of you are young couple, all right? So, if you don't budget, if you do not actually plan for your retirement, what happens is that when you retire, you got no money, who is going to look after you? You expect your children to look after you? Very difficult, right? I got a friend. Used to work as a chief editor of a newspaper. I visited him last year. He's very frail and also very sick in the old folks home. He has got 3 sons, 1 daughter. Nobody, none of them, able to look after the father and also the mother. Both father and mother, husband and wife are so old, and the children so busy, they got no time to look after them, right? So in the end, they check themselves into the elderly care home, right? So with the money, the retirement money that they have, they keep on spending, spending until the money all finished, balance. Once they go, money also go, everything gone, right? So that's why a lot of actually elderly couples, when they don't plan for their retirement, what happens is when they grow old, they actually suffer a lot. That's why my wife and I, we already planned way ahead of time. So I'm going to give you afterwards, each of you, actually a budget sheet. So that you can go back and budget. I'll tell you what to do later part, right? Now, have regular discussions to sort out money disagreement. Okay? So, finally, I have this budget, couples budgeting worksheet. So, I prepare a budgeting worksheet for the couples. You can actually take them home and you begin to actually work it out. Okay? Work out in terms of, can I have a copy? You can pass it to them. Yeah. Okay, you work as a couple, and then you try to actually do this exercise. And then on a monthly basis, you review. Okay? And you review. And I can guarantee you that you will become richer by the month. Guarantee. All right? If you, that means sincerely following this plan. Okay? Now, what you do is that you work out the income, husband's income, and the wife's income. And what is your total monthly income as husband and wife? And what are your these monthly fixed expenses? Example, your house, rental, even your loans, repayment, your utilities, your phone bills, your insurance, and other fixed expenses such as your tithes and offering. All right? Tithes and offering you give every month, true or not? And also money that you give to your parents. Some of you are supporting your parents, so you actually put it aside, okay? And total fixed expenses, you list them down. See how much both of you still have available, okay? And also variable monthly expenses, such as grocery. Sometimes once a week you want to dine out, okay? You need petrol, you need entertainment, you need some personal care. Go for your massage, facial every month. Some lady, they go for their facial every month, right? And some men, they go for their massage, okay? So you have to actually provide that. And also your birthday gifts, your wedding ampoules, okay? And also your miscellaneous. Every month is different. Every month is different, okay? Then you work out what is your total variable expenses. Okay? Then you find out what is your savings and your investment. Example, your emergency fund, your retirement contribution, your vacation, your children's education, your debts repayment, etc. Okay? So, how much is your saving from all those that you have? Some of them plus, minus, minus become minus, big minus, right? Then you got a big problem. So this actually is to help you to budget so that you know that which are the big ticketing items that you can actually save, okay? So then you work out the summary. What will be your total monthly income and what is your total fixed expenses and also your variable expenses and also your saving, your investment, all right? So you work it out and see whether you're plus or you're minus. So what is your remaining balance that you have after minusing everything, right? So as I say that, whatever that you make, try to allocate 20% aside. Spend on the 10%, and I think that you will become very, very wealthy in time to come. That means you plan out your financial management, all right? And then finally, you find out what expenses can you reduce or you can optimize, okay? And also your financial goals to focus, especially this month. Husband and wife, it just take you probably 10 minutes to work it out, right? And then you work it out as husband and wife. And what are the other big ticketing items that you are going to spend? Yeah? Maybe you see, okay, I want to go and buy a massage chair. True or not? Pamper yourself with a nice massage chair. Okay? So, after you have done all this, then you put down, husband and wife, sit down and work out what is your next day of your budget. Next month. Month after month. So if you begin to actually work on that diligently, I guarantee you, brothers and sisters, you will be so happy 1 year down the road. All right? See? All right. So, any question? Is that okay?
Yeah, I think Q&A and some question for Dr. Tan and
Any question? That means no question. Either my message is not clear, or it is so clear that you got nothing to ask. Okay? So if nothing, over to you, see.
okay, and okay, give a round of applause to Dr. Tan and